Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the Bit Squad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, DZ, and today is going to be a great episode. Today's episode brought to you by NFTs, I guess. We got a great guest, first time being on the show, so definitely excited. Definitely check out his channel. It's Elio Trade, so we're all big fans here, man. We're definitely glad to have you on. Check out his channel. It puts out great, fantastic NFT content. We also have Crypto Wendy O. She did something last night that was either the most intelligent thing or the dumbest thing in her life. Can you expand on that? You can't leave us hanging, Wendy.
Unfortunately, I cannot because it was more of a person, but I just want to take this time to really send my love to everybody that's on the show because it wasn't too long ago. We had just met all in person at a very interesting event, and we are still here. We're all smashing it. So love and light to you all, and thank you so much for being amazing content creators and my friends.
Yeah, we are all smashing that like button, that is, and crushing the YouTube algorithms. That is what we're smashing here. And we actually have a Altcoin Daily here. We have an old picture, Frank, if you want to bring that up. He probably looked like this. Him and his brother, they probably looked like this when y'all met up all those years ago, way back in the before when Bitcoin was under $20,000. Often mistaken for the Winklevi. And we also have
that's me. And by the way, that's me and Aaron selling real estate. I'm kidding.
Hey, I'd buy that house in the cul-de-sac from you. And we also have MC of the pizza party from earlier today, Ben Armstrong. That's right, coming in, playing up cleanup at the end there. And today's going to be a great episode. We're going to talk about the senators going after Facebook. They just can't leave crypto and these crypto companies or Facebook alone. We also have NFTs going parabolic. With a great lineup like this, we had to discuss NFTs and the real reason we're here, the reason we have the green background, the reason we're all in profit right now as far as Bitcoin goes. Bitcoin at an all-time high. So we're definitely going to cover that. And we'll be looking at the chat. If you like what they're saying, go ahead and hit +1, and then whoever has the most points at the end gets to leave a parting thought. So we'll be reading off the chat for you guys. All right, so we're going to go right into it. But first, it's Market Watch. That's right, it's your favorite time. And what a day like today. First thing we need to check out is that Bitcoin dominance. We're looking at 47% there. I don't know. I think if I zoom in, it kind of shrinks away. But yeah, 47%. Bitcoin currently $65,000. When you look at that, we're knocking on that 6-6 door. So it's looking good. And we're only up 2%. And we're at 65,800. It's looking good. Ethereum creeping towards that all-time high. Now, Ethereum typically likes to pump a month after Bitcoin. So can you even imagine what's going to be happening 28 days from now when it comes to Ethereum? Something I'm definitely excited about. Up 14% on the week, 15% for Bitcoin. BNB holding down the number 3 spot. They would like to fight with Cardano for that number 3. Cardano, a little lackluster, but they just turned the weekly positive. So maybe this is the accumulation phase. Could be ending, and maybe we're going to have that run up back to $3. ADA gang, if you're in the chat, I know you like that $3 Cardano. Go ahead and hit hashtag ADA. All right, if we look at the top gainers, OKB, we just keep seeing this coin over and over and over. OKB up 61% on the week, 30% on the day. Engine looking good. Terra, Nexo, the Graph. Boy, I haven't talked about the Graph in a long time. One of those things popped hard in January, then just kind of like fell off everyone's radar. Losers, not much at all. I'm seeing a whole lot of zeros, and then it looks like it goes straight into the green. So today's a good day. Ben, you're back. You had the morning stream this morning. We could hear you screaming. We're all watching it. We're like, oh man, Ben is getting heated up. You're almost shaking in rage. But aren't you happy now that Bitcoin's up? What's the markets telling you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely happy. It's not just happiness. I mean, I feel good for the people who didn't sell, the people who are not scared off by all these bearish numbers of $9,000 and $18,000, and well, it's definitely going at least to $24,000, and blah 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 blah. It was never going to go far under 30. It went a little bit under 30. Now it could go under 30 in the bear market next year, depending on how high it goes. But I feel good for those people. And, it's not just a celebration of like, hey, we've got more money today than we had yesterday. It's a celebration of there are people out there that are changing their lives with crypto and with Bitcoin. And, you've got this whole other pool of people that are like, Well, what about us? We bought Cardano at $1.80, and we're waiting for this massive pump. Or we bought Cardano at $3, and now we've done this and that. Oh, you also will be vindicated. There will also be a day coming for you altcoin junkies out there when we see the most parabolic altcoin season that we've ever seen. When you really look at the potential for where this could go, it's very fun and it's very exciting. And I still believe Ethereum has a chance to flip Bitcoin by the end of this cycle. I think it's definitely possible. Just feeling good about everything, feeling good about the markets.
All right, and I think Deuce said it best. This morning, Ben went rope to rope and dropped the people's elbow. And real quick, Radio Face, will we see $200 ETH in the bear market? Because I'm buying. I wouldn't hold your breath on a
no. We're not seeing
Ethereum hitting $200 again. So yeah, it looked like we're all shaking our head on that one. All right, well, let's go to the first topic. We touched on it yesterday, but there was some breaking news, some breaking developments concerning this Facebook trying to get their own wallet, trying to get their own currency off the ground. Something happened in the midst of the night last night. Some senators went after the Zuck. And so they, of course, just kind of reiterate, it was the Novi wallet. They're doing their test trial right now. It's U.S. and Guatemala. But then Senators Schatz, Brown, Blumenthal, Warren, and Smith, those five, they came out and they said they want an immediate closure of Facebook's wallet.
Did you say Schatz Brown?
Yes. I didn't put it in that order on purpose. It was in
saw Elliot
alphabetical
laugh.
order.
Okay.
It was in alphabetical order. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. Okay, I lied. We went by first name. Anyways, we're gonna I don't know, it just happened that way. I threw some dice I threw dice down on the floor and then I just went off with that. So yeah, Schatz, Brown, Blumenthal, Warren, and Smith, they came after it. This is just hours after we had our show yesterday. Now, Wendy, you love talking about the regulators. You love the politicians, especially your local ones. Congress isn't known for fast and decisive action. But what do you think about the speed in which they came out and talked about this? It was just hours after their announcement. What was your takeaway on that?
What are they trying to pass through? And why are they going after Facebook? I think that the reason why they're going after Facebook for this particular issue is because they're trying to pass something through. And the best way for them to kind of slip something through without too many people knowing is they're going to go after Facebook. It's going to become mainstream news. And then they're going to go ahead and just completely say, oh, it's okay. And they'll probably let them pass. But one thing that's probably interesting to me is the fact that Facebook's crypto wallet or whatever they're trying to do there has morphed into this thing. It's changed names. They've rebranded so many times. So that's something that's more alarming to me. And I think this particular topic is not necessarily like, why is this? Or I feel like what they're putting out on mainstream media is not the entire story. And I feel like it's a story that is being used to gain attention so that they can push whatever agenda through that they want to push through. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. And you bring up a good point with changing the name. What is something that we see change names all the time? Crappy meme tokens that have like zero utility that end up rug pulling on their users later. So yeah, that is a good point with the name. I do want to say Crow in chat just brought up a good point. Hoping ETH goes back to previous all-time high, which is 1,300. That would be interesting to see if ETH kind of follows Bitcoin's roll, just 4 years later. So yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Perhaps you might be onto something there. Now, Elio, we brought up Facebook. They're saying Facebook can't be trusted to have a digital wallet. Their actual quote was, can't be trusted to manage a payment system or digital currency when its existing ability to manage risk and keeps consumers safe has proven wholly insufficient. I don't really think any of us disagree with, Facebook could have done a little bit better with people's privacy, been a little bit better with communicating what they're doing with your data. But how do you feel about, Facebook? They're hiring 10,000 engineers in EU. They're sinking tens of millions of dollars into a metaverse. They essentially, for the layman, they want to be Ready Player One. How do you feel about their ability to pull that off? Is that something do you think that, we're going to be doing in 2 years?
Yes, so I was gonna go there anyway when you gave me the floor, which is yes, they have the senators are going after the things they understand, right? What do they understand? They understand lending products, they understand bank deposits, they understand bonds. So what did they go after first? They went after DeFi, they went after Coinbase Lend. The next thing on the docket is, of course, base currencies, remittances, right? So they're going after Coinbase's remittance product. Why? Because they understand it. The things that they don't understand, and they have no clue, really no framework to estimate the impact on society, on the internet, on data, on our lives, that is NFTs and metaverse. It's so new. that I believe that this is the more important piece of news by about 10x, and they have completely missed it. And they have no idea the type of control systems that can be implemented in that type of product. Obviously, I met Ben, Altcoin Daily, Wendy, all these people on stage right now. I met everybody in San Francisco too in 2019, and I was already hyper obsessed with NFT gaming because I saw that as the mainstream wave for this technologies. Now I'm very, very confident seeing Facebook's pivot. By the way, saw a nice tweet by Chris Dixon, who's Andreessen Horowitz, our A160 investor partner. And he essentially said, Facebook is the only founder-led big tech company left. And that's why they're able to take non-consensus bets like Metaverse, right? And actually steer the company and just jump off the cliff into something brand new. But anyone following the story knows we're not going to Mars, we're going into a computer, and the metaverses that we choose to spend our time in will be probably the most important technologies of the next 10, 20 years. So I think it's a huge announcement. And if they were worried about anything, they should be worried about that, not sending money to Guatemala.
Yeah, so you're bringing up a good point. They're going after what they do understand. Now, maybe Facebook is also trying to dodge some of this by branching out into Europe for their hiring arm. All the developers they say they're hiring them in the EU. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a different country's entity, maybe Ireland or something like that. Now, Altcoin Daily.
No. Before you go down here to my friend Austin. Okay, I want to say what. Yes,
you're talking about me. No, you're talking about me.
Yeah, did I do?
And
that?
I was just letting the audience know who you're talking about.
Do you want me to say Altcoin Daily?
No, I regret raising my hand. You had a great flow. Keep going.
Man, I tell you what, you have messed up the entire show. Okay, this is terrible. What I want to say is look, I kind of I agree with the end goals of what Elio's saying here, but I would say that they're not going after what they know. They're going after what they've been told to go after. You have to understand these politicians are bought and paid for, and there are people above them calling the shots. They're going after Coinbase Lend because they want people to understand you're not going to compete stablecoin staking with the bond yields. They're going after other things in crypto because they will ultimately affect the bottom line of the banks. That's what they're going after. What was the other example you said, Elio?
I use the examples of DeFi lending and remittances because those are just very easy bank-run businesses there's just the bank's business as exactly what you're saying. And quite frankly, there's no real video game lobby, right? So we don't expect the video game companies to be pulling political influence here, which is a really interesting way to look at it as well. But I completely agree with you. Of course, the things that affect the bank's bottom line are going to be top of the docket.
Yeah. And when you look at remittances, there's only one company that's going to be at the top of those remittances. And that's going to be Ripple, and that's going to be XRP. So because of that, don't laugh, don't snicker. It's coming. It's going to happen. So
I believe it. I love your XRP bet. I love your XRP bet.
I love it too.
It's so contrarian.
I'm not saying it's. I was disagreeing with that laughter. It was. You couldn't miss an opportunity to get that XRP. You got.
I love you. I love my people.
They love you for
it's true.
I have a theory that the most contrarian bet is always the best one. And this is by all means a contrarian bet now. And so you got to love the contrarian nature of XRP, if only from that metric. So that's why I really love it.
All right. Well, let's cut to the end game here. What do you think the outcome is going to be with these senators targeting Facebook? Do you think that this is just going to, die off? They're just trying to maybe get some headlines now? Or do you see this, playing out with some Senate testimony or maybe, some grand jury subpoenas? How do you see this playing out?
I think that corporations are by and large the new governments. Like Facebook's way bigger than the US government. They have way more outreach globally than the US government. And, each other making life harder for one another can go both ways, meaning the US government can make it very hard for Facebook to keep going. Maybe Facebook's more of a monopoly, maybe not. That's just the talk. But also, Facebook doesn't need the US. Facebook can go elsewhere. They have a global audience. So for this specifically, I think like Elizabeth Warren, all those US senators, they've never liked cryptocurrency. She put out some very public tweets a couple months ago saying that all this needs to be regulated. It's dangerous. They compared cryptocurrency to drugs. What I think is going on is they didn't really get the grassroots support of, we hate cryptocurrency. It's all bad. So if you look at all these quotes right now, it's all, Facebook is the bad one. We can't have this control under Facebook. When in reality, I think there's a hand in everybody's pockets from the government and Facebook in terms of the data collection and where they have, how they're monitoring their users. So in my mind, this is all going to get worked out. If the US had a problem with stablecoins or digital wallets, I think they'd go after USDC, which is also in bed with the US government. I mean, it's a stablecoin, as they should be. So in my mind, it's going to get worked out, and the US government wants to make sure they have a little bit of a part in Facebook's next venture.
Yeah. Real quick, in the chat, someone saying DZ is jealous of XRP. I've said it. I probably won't say it again for a long time. I haven't owned XRP in years. It's been at least 2 years. I own a little XRP now. I bought some like a month ago. So I'm not hating on XRP.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not jealous of it. It doesn't have hair.
Okay. All right. That was good. Man, you slipping in these little jabs over and over. I'm not doing a hair reveal. I did it on the morning stream, not that like last week.
DZ,
So.
I have to say something before we...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see people saying we want DZ in the morning chat, and it's really irritating me. So.
Okay, it's just a little backlash from that. I understand that. What was that, Wendy?
I just want to leave the audience with one question. This is something I want you guys to do. I want you to Google yourself, get the data, but look and see how much these remittance companies make just off of people sending money to and from Mexico. I want you to pay attention to that, because the crypto community has slept on the Latino community for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of my friends are sending money back and forth all the time. So go ahead, Google that, understand what type of wealth we're talking about, how much capital we're talking about, and then you will understand why Facebook wants to go ahead and test in Guatemala with these money remittances, because that will be, I feel like that's going to be their in to get this thing approved. And that's all I want to say.
All right. Well, let's get to the second topic here. NFTs going parabolic. Quick shout out to Hamad for sticking with the plan and not selling during the summer. We told you not to sell. Everybody's happy now who did listen to us. All right, but NFTs going parabolic. Frank, if you want to share the screen right here, this is where we're going to leave. This just happened last 24 hours. This JPEG sold for $2.7 million. The amount of ETH, I'm not kidding here. Let's see if it's on the thing. Yeah, 69.969. So almost like a meme, and it's still sold for that. So huge gains with these Bored Apes. They just came out in April. I mean, these things are blowing up. I mean, that's a lot of ETH. That's a lot of money. A couple of them sold for $1 million in the last 10 days, I believe, or in the last 20 days. And this is a whale wallet. They got a couple punks. They got a Fidenza. They have millions of dollars of JPEGs in here. Now, Elio, I got to throw to you first. You're one of the main NFT channels. I think that's even why you're growing out a mustache. You're trying to beat Crypto Stash. Now, for someone who's just getting their feet wet in the NFT space, what is just your number one advice, something simple for people who, you know what, I'm going to buy my first NFT today. What would you tell them?
Yeah, the biggest thing that people won't do, that has been the reason why I've been able to absolutely crush the NFT market since about May, when I got first into the Bored Apes Discord, was that you need to interact with these communities. You need to understand what the communities are like, and you need to spend a long time learning. When I got into that Bored Apes Discord and I started joining their clubhouses and I started hearing, hundreds and hundreds of grownups making ape noises across the world and talking about everything that they were going to contribute to the project, I realized that the loyalty to this brand was so much more extraordinary than the loyalty I'd seen to other fungible token brands and other communities in crypto. And it made me realize that there was something very special. So I started going in. A lot of my buys were in the sort of 0.3 to 1 ETH range, and I started covering it on my channel. Obviously, looking back, those were astronomically good buys, but it really motivated me to do the research on communities and to understand where that sort of special energy was coming from. The next one that caught my eyes was Cool Cats. And so I was really, really deeply going, like, I spend a lot of time in Discord. And I think that that's probably the number one activity that has allowed me to understand and predict value accrual to the NFTs. Because in the end, the JPEGs are meaningless, except if the community is really, really passionate. Then you end up with this diamond hand effect. And there's just not that many of these NFTs in each collection. So if they get popular, inevitably the prices go crazy. If I was to say anything to people in NFTs right now, we're looking at a massive correction after a huge NFT mania wave. Even though there is some, sort of storybook ape sales, which, by the way, that meme price may or may not be the most authentic buy. But the reality is that What's happening right now is a lot of people are jumping ship as we were predicting, saying, hey, look, the ETF looks likely. People are going to try to get liquid for alt season. They're going to try to take their gains off the table in NFT land. So if you missed the chance to get liquid, panic selling is not going to be your path to happiness. I do believe that as a last act of the bull run, we'll see a lot of the altcoin gains flow into NFTs, if only just for the flex, because the digital flex is so much more important now, especially to this community. There won't be Lambos, there will be Fidenzas, right? And so I'm a very big believer that this is a consolidation. We're still way higher than we were 3 months ago by orders of magnitude. And so the advice to people is get into Discords, do a lot of research, dig deep, spend time in communities. And then if you really believe in something, you got a diamond hand. Hand.
Great points. The flex thing, the digital flexing is definitely something Gary Vee harps on. He kind of says something similar, yeah, you're right. It's not going to be the Lambos. It's not going to be the Rolex. It's what's your profile pick. And, on a long enough time scale, I would say he's definitely correct. And, this whole space is blown up. We have the Facebook thing. We had Galaxy Interactive. They pulled in $325 million for its round. They're wanting to do blockchain-based games and augmented virtual reality. We're seeing all this hype. It's building up. We have Coinbase entering the market. We, probably going to have Facebook entering the market fairly soon. But I'm kind of agreeing with Elio here that, we are maybe going to have a cool down period as ETH goes. I believe it'll go slightly parabolic. The cash amount will probably rise a little bit, but, don't be surprised if the ETH amount drops a little. Now, Altcoin Daily, how do you feel about that? Do you think the Coinbase and the Facebooks can, sustain this just insane run up with NFTs where just every month is smashing the previous month and just record high for a punk, record high for an ape? It just keeps happening. Is the party over, or are we, what do you think? Can Coinbase change that?
The party is going to end sometime in these bubbles. NFTs in general, the blue chips, the Bored Apes, the crypto punks, like all that, those will be here. Those are the proof of concepts. They have the history, 10 years down the line. Now, whenever the bear market hits, no matter just the simple stats that OpenSea was whatever they did 2 years ago in their annual volume, they've done, triple that, quadruple that in just 2 days this year, all taking place on OpenSea. Obviously, Coinbase already has the crypto users. They want to take advantage. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those people see the what NFTs are, the revolution that's taking place. And to piggyback a little bit off what Elliot said, it's about community. And community is, that's been going on since the dawn of man. Humans are very tribal. And NFTs are bringing that community from the analog age into the digital age. Take, for example, going to a concert, seeing your favorite rock star. You wanted that T-shirt at the end of the day so you could show all your high school friends, your college friends, hey man, final tour, I was there. Now people would much rather have that Snapchat filter or that Instagram filter to show, hey, I was there. Like everything's taking place on this digital age. So NFTs are here to stay. The blue chip ones, I think, will be seen as sort of like the safer plays, meaning they'll dip along with everything else, but they'll be here, 5-10 years from now, however long it takes. But generally speaking, this is the digital revolution, bringing the community to that digital age.
It's funny you mentioned Rock T-shirt. They just set a record yesterday, I believe, with a Grateful Dead T-shirt from 1967, sold for over $50,000. I think it was around $60,000. That's an example. That's basically NFTs. You can get an exact replica of that shirt. It's going to cost you $20. But if you have the OG shirt, it's $60,000. And from a distance, you can't even tell the difference. That's why right-clicking saving isn't really the same. We are getting rated by Pluto. We have plenty of Pluto super chats here. DZ better get Beezy shilling our Pluto NFTs. Greetings, Blockchain Squad. So let's go to the leader of the Pluto Alliance. We got the Grand General himself, Ben Armstrong, leading the army of 10,000 aliens here. So you're familiar with this. And with Pluto Alliance, they do have some partnerships with these decentralized metaverses. But then we have a Facebook entering, and they're trying to be a centralized metaverse. Well, the number one thing being played, quote unquote, metaverse is like Roblox. It's played by kids. It's centralized. It's 100 million people, I think, every single day play it. But everyone assumes it's just going to be decentralized. Decentralized is going to win. Decentralized is going to beat YouTube. Decentralized is going to beat Facebook. Does that have to be the case? What do you see? Like, is this something that is going to maybe take 50 years, or 5 years? What is your take on the centralized versus decentralized when it comes to these metaverses and games?
Well, I do think decentralized will win. And I think because you have to understand is who is really starting this movement, the people that are for decentralization. We are building the base for what will be the future metaverses that people will live in. And there are just so many more options when you look at these decentralized metaverses. I mean, look, I've been telling my people for weeks now, for probably about a month, that metaverse is the niche you need to be looking at right now. This is the one similar to what we saw when NFTs started booming, when we saw DeFi started booming, when we saw exchange coins started booming. It's the same kind of groundswell moving up. So because of that, and you also have to understand, like, this crowd, this decentralized crowd that all of this is built upon, who would most of them say, like, our number one enemy is? Banks, governments, Facebook, right? Facebook is right there on that list. Why? Because they're responsible for a direct invasion of all of our privacy that has ruined privacy for probably not only the next generation, but the next generation after that. It can be taken back. But I do think that decentralized will win because that's where all the building is. Now, to tackle Facebook as an entity and say, like, okay, but they've got so much money, they've got a head start, they've already got Oculus, all of that makes sense. There's definitely a chance they're going to become, they could become the number one. But I just don't see it. I do see a total rejection of Facebook. And I think Facebook is also, they are talking about a total rebrand. They're talking about changing their name. They're talking about changing their name. And I think that's the only shot that they have, so people aren't reminded on a daily basis of how they raped and pillaged our privacy.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, on that note,
you can rebrand and you
No
can
consent.
change your name all you want, but the people that have been here long enough are going to remember. And that's all I'm going to say.
Remember, and we're not that far from the 5th of November. Now, let's talk about some Bitcoin. Wendy, I'm going to take it to you because we need your expertise here. Bitcoin all-time highs. Let's check the screen. Well, no, I took it down. Coin market cap. Let's see. Where are we sitting at right now? We are at, look at that. If we bring it up, we just passed 66,000 on coin market cap. So we're looking good. Smash that like to keep it above. Oh, you didn't hit it. You didn't hit the like button. It just dropped to 65,980. That is your fault for not hitting it fast enough, but it's okay because you can also go in the description and sub to everyone's channel here, and then that'll make up for it. It'll go above 66,000. But Wendy, we just have, all-time highs. We broke through resistance. We beat that April peak. We're the final boss is beaten, as they say. But what are the charts telling you? What are the Fibonacci retracements telling you? What are the next scary levels that, I know, and I'm not trying to be funny here or anything. It's just how crypto is. 69 and 420. People always put buy orders. People always put sell orders. Is it 69,000 or is there something before that? What's the chart showing you for the danger zone?
I'm actually more concerned with 75,000 from here, and then I want to say about $81,000, because if you pull the fibs up and you look, I like to put a middle area, and let me share my screen so y'all can see really quick. But I like to put my middle area in between. I like to draw a part in between the fibs, and the reason why is because it helps me not get super excited. So if you just go ahead and draw your regular Fibonacci extensions or retracements, however you want to draw them, it doesn't matter, it's all symmetric. But realistically, we have a middle area in between the 1 and the 1.272 areas. I think it's important to be conservative here, especially because we're in price discovery. We do have to understand that Bitcoin is not traded as like an altcoin. A lot of altcoins go parabolic. They absolutely go to the moon. They'll pump like 100 times. Bitcoin doesn't trade like that though. So I still do think dollar cost averaging is the way. I still am concerned with, price movement. But I think that we should kind of pay attention and look at things level by level, and then pay attention to what Bitcoin's doing. And if you can do that successfully, you'll be able to play NFTs and altcoins. And as Elio was saying, there's a new flow of money now between altcoins and NFTs, etc. But when it comes to Bitcoin, it's almost like I want to try and time this to when money is going to be leaving Bitcoin. It'll go into altcoins or NFTs, etc. And the key areas for me with Bitcoin are going to be 75,000, approximately $81,000. And if we can get really above $81,000, I think we should be able to potentially see $100,000. I just don't know if it's going to be this year or not in 2020.
Real quick, I just realized some people, this may be the first time they're watching a crypto show. Bitcoin super high. They click, they type in BitBoy, they type in Bitcoin, we pop up. we get excited for price discovery. Some people might not know what that means. Can you just give like a real quick explanation of price discovery?
Yes. So price discovery is when you're able to successfully close and break above the all-time high. So in this case, we're talking about Bitcoin being at approximately $65,000. And since we've been able to successfully surpass $65,000, that would constitute of being in price discovery. However, we do need to see a nice candle close above that swing wick high that I want to say was April 14th, if I'm correct. And that's when price discovery is when you have no support and resistance, when it's just a big black screen and it's like, kind of feels like you're in outer space. You literally feel like you're going to the moon. But price discovery is also very dangerous too, because we can have a lot of sharp pullbacks. We can have a lot of volatility that occurs in the market. But right now with Bitcoin, I don't necessarily know if we're going to experience that. When we broke above all-time high because of the futures ETF that was announced, we didn't break above it right then and there. Generally, we see Bitcoin pull this big green candle up, it shoots right above, and it's beautiful. We didn't see that. We saw some nice consolidation in the $60,000 area. So this price discovery move is a little bit nicer, and I feel like it could be a little bit more sustainable than what we've seen in the past.
All right, I'm feeling bullish after that. I'm getting excited. Hit that like button if you're getting excited too. Now, Michael Saylor, he had a great quote. He talks a lot and everything. You know, you get some snippets out of there. You get some gold. He doesn't just repeat that Bitcoin is granted on, what does he say? What's the New York borough? Oh, it's Manhattan. It's granted in Manhattan. We love Michael Saylor here. The halls of eternity echo with the cries of those who sold their Bitcoin. So, you know, he's making fun of the people who sold the bottom. We told him to say, but we're seeing, you know, people are coming out of the woodwork. It's in the headlines again. Eron Schmeeds even had a schoolmate he hadn't talked to in years text, hey, should I buy some Bitcoin? So, you know, we're probably all experiencing something similar or know somebody who's experienced something similar. Should I buy Bitcoin? Is this the time to buy Bitcoin? Elio, you just got a text. They haven't talked to you since high school. You kind of like them. You know, you cheated off them one time when you were sick and, you know, they're a good friend, but not a best friend, just a good acquaintance here. They text you, should I buy some Bitcoin? What do you tell them in response? They're a good friend again.
Yeah, look, most people, what I've found, especially on the channel, especially looking back at this sort of early 2021 crowd that came in, lovingly referred to as the reply guys. Look, most people don't want to do the work. They don't want to track the market. They're not going to take profits. They're going to hold to the top, and they're going to get crushed when the market turns. So for those people, buying and holding Bitcoin and Ethereum is a set it and forget it, right? If you're new, buy some Bitcoin and ETH, and then don't worry about it, right? If you're actually wanting to take this seriously and you want to dedicate yourself and you want to transform your life, you got to be willing to put in the work. Most people aren't. And if you're willing to put in the work, then you should look first at sort of those Coinbase listed big layer one protocols, the Solanas, the BSCs, the DOTs, the Cardanos. Those will have a wave. And then if you really want to get advanced, you should start looking at trending narratives and start looking at the really interesting lower market cap coins, which will have narrative driven waves. There will be a NFT wave. There'll be a metaverse wave. There'll be the gaming wave. There'll be the L1 wave. There'll be a DeFi wave. All these things will happen in alt season. And why? Because essentially the whales will be kind of painting those waves out there. Now, when Bitcoin holders, the diamond hands, start taking profits, we saw this not at 20K and not at the 20K level in 2017, but we saw this at the rebound, at the sort of second push around 16K. You can look at the on-chain metrics, and that's where all the diamond hands and the long-term holders of Bitcoin started taking exit liquidity. Now, what we saw throughout the entire mid-year cycle in 2021 is that on-chain showed that diamond hands were just gobbling up those panic sellers. And so what we saw was on-chain was bullish. When on-chain flips bearish and those diamond hand long-term wallets, those coins that haven't moved in years, start selling, that is a huge, huge sign that we're probably going to get one big altcoin pump, then maybe an NFT wave, and then the music very well might stop for a while.
Okay. Biscuit Jesus, also known as BJ, our technical director. We have Frank filling in for him, doing an awesome job. He just put in a super chat. All five of y'all bicep reveal for them BTC pumps. I don't want to speak for them. All right, I'll give y'all like a little bit, a little whimper of a muscle there. All right, Ben coming in, ripping shirt sleeves. We also have Elio.
Be blinded by my lack of vitamin D here.
Hey,
Let's
man,
go.
He's killing it. He's killing it. All right.
Come on,
all right, well,
Daily. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Bring,
He's got a kettlebell. He's got a kettlebell.
I'm just trying to get
All
a
right.
pump.
He's getting a pumping. He's getting a pumping. And Wendy, you don't want to mess with her. She's in the boxing gym, so you don't want to
I
mess
am
with
in the
Wendy.
boxing gym.
She's in
I
there.
will
She's
toss you guys like nothing.
She'll throw you over that top rope. She too will give you the people's elbow. Now you bring up a good point. You know, there's going to be some lower cap. You know, thing. Those. You know, some people won't even know what that means. So basically, Elio's answer is educate yourself, and that is a good answer. There are going to be some lower cap gyms. You know, some low cap. You know, some things that they have a little bit more room. Bitcoin, it could possibly double. You know, some people are saying it's going to triple, quadruple. But something that is worth less than 1% of that value is going to more easily double, triple, quadruple if there's good fundamentals. But let's not talk about specifics here. Altcoin Daily. Let's talk about it as a whole. You know, they call it alt season. It's when Bitcoin, you know, the steam runs out a little bit, and then the whales, you know, they'll usually put their Bitcoin profits into other coins, and we'll call that altcoin season. If you had to try to guess any kind of guesstimation here, when do you think altcoin season is going to hit? Are we looking at January? Are we kind of repeating 2018? What's the date for you?
It's next to one. No. It's I think in the grand scheme of things, when we're looking back a year later, you know, in retrospect, people will say like, "Oh, it's obviously a top to this time." Well, no, it's not obvious. It's obvious in retrospect that we can look back and see all the macro indicators. Generally speaking, Bitcoin, the reason we get these rallies is always just simply put supply and demand, meaning that if demand stays exactly the same every 4 years, we have a supply halvening, so that faucet gets cut in half. And from everything we're seeing, you know, demand's only increasing. So if we're looking back a year, I guess broad picture, if we're looking back a year later after altcoin season has already happened, I think people are going to measure those altcoin gains not from today, not from this little, you know, minor double bubble valley in the double bubble that we may see. They'll measure it from maybe March 2020 or the beginning of January 2021. So my answer is, in a lot of ways, we're in the middle of altcoin season now. We haven't got that blow off top, but in retrospect, people aren't going to measure it from when Cardano was $2. People will measure it when Cardano was at 7 cents or 50 cents. So we're in the middle. And I guess dollar cost average out, much like you dollar cost average in, because me personally, I'm never going to get the exact top.
All right. Well, let's try to nail this down a little bit better. We'll end it here. Now, Ben, he's saying we might be in the midst of it. So let's focus on the Bitcoin dominance. We're almost at 50%. I think we're at 47%, 47.1 when I looked. I know you're checking it this morning. Are we going to see the Bitcoin dominance go higher from here? It is 47.1. Ethereum's at 18.5. From here, are we going to hit 50%? Are we going higher, or are we going to go lower and get back into that, you know, high 30s, low 40s range?
You know what? I was saying that I felt like it could get back up to 55%, but I don't know at this point. With the massive move that it just did to only hit 47, at maybe 50 could be the top. That might be where we see the you know, altcoins really start to run. But I want to say I really disagree with Altcoin Daily Austin here. I really disagree with him on this because I don't think when I look back at 2017, I'll just speak about my personal experience here. When I look back at 2017 and I talk about altcoin season, I think about how I was feeling at that time. And now keep in mind, this is from a person who was there and who went through it. Okay. This is not from just strictly looking at a chart like he was kind of talking about. But I really tend to think September, October, November, December, January, that was when altcoin season really started. Specifically, really, I mean, you can move out September. It's when I had some entries. But October, November, December, and then blow off top in January. It was that last little phase that I really consider to be the altcoin season. Yeah, when you look back at the bear market or like a coin like Cardano that just launched within that window, you know, for some other coins that have been around longer, you can certainly look at earlier dates and see lower prices and stuff like that to judge the actual gains. But I think we are in the middle. We are beginning what is going to be known as the altcoin season, as the altcoin blow off top, as the parabolic run in a few years. I think we're already starting to ease into that. We're looking at the exchange tokens right now that are pumping out of control. A lot of people wonder, like, why is Huobi token and why is OKB token? Yeah, why are they moving so much? Well, those are two exchanges that whales absolutely love. A lot of whale movement on those exchanges. They veil them a little better than some other places. So that doesn't surprise me that those coins are pumping. FTT also was pumping pretty hard. But I think that we're seeing exchange tokens start to move, including what's the number one exchange token? Binance Coin,
BNB.
right? What are we seeing move? We're seeing BNB, crush it right now. So I think this is really the start. We're going to see kind of niches start moving, and then they're all going to move in unison. I would compare this, coincidentally, back to like about October of 2017. So that means much bigger gains to come.
All right, great knowledge bombs from the leader of Pluto Alliance himself. I see you, Pluto Alliance, in the chat. So many alien emojis. I'm starting to feel like Fox Mulder.
Alien.
Where's my Dana? Go ahead.
I said alien.
Alien. Someone also called them Albinians. I don't know. They're trying here. They're trying to make it Ben centric here. But that is all we got time for today. Elio came in. You know what? We sandbagged us because we did NFTs, Elio. So you had the heads up, man. You're the NFT channel, so you better have won.
Shoot!
Yeah. So you got the most points.
Thank you for taking it easy on me. Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and toss it to you. You got about 30 seconds. Leave us with some parting thoughts and tell the people what they like to hear.
Yeah, the biggest thing you can do, especially if you're new here, is play a long game. That is it. There is going to be more cycles and there will inevitably be downturns. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. Think about what you're going to do in the bear market and you're going to make it. Thank you for having me, guys.
All right. And that is all we got time for. It was a great episode. Bitcoin's all-time high. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be in crypto. And don't forget to go in the description, hit all the links here, go into their channels, hit that subscribe button. Let's show them that Bit Squad love. That's all we got time for. DZ out.